legal action taken against Infinity Nikki. Chat, things are escalating. A list of the illegal practices of Infold and where to report them. TLDR at the bottom. Okay. So this is gonna get real juicy, chat. I guess this is everything. Hell hath no fury like women scorned. This is gonna be a bit of a read. Are you ready for this? Okay, yeah, get your popcorn ready. There could be more violations. These are the most obvious ones that I've seen. If you live somewhere besides the US or the European Union, I'd love to help you find laws and reporting centers for your area. These people genuinely want to take Infold, the Infinity Nikki devs, to court. They want to sue them. They want to report them for illegal practices, chat. Holy crap. Okay, starting with the $50 markdown to a generous $9.99 bathtub. However, many other things in the store have been similarly advertised, though not quite as egregiously. I remember that. That was a super value purchase, a bathtub, for $50. In the US National FTC regulations, unfair or deceptive acts or practices in or affecting commerce are hereby declared unlawful. This is very broad, but then you have the FTC guides that go into what this means. On deceptive pricing, the FTC states that advertisers cannot advertise a former price unless it was an actual price that was offered for a reasonable amount of time. This is specifically in this segment of their article. Although they seem to violate quite a bit of Section 233 as a whole, the $50 pricing was never real or intended, which is called false reference pricing. Some states have even stricter rules, but for this post, I'm trying to include the laws for the most people possible. They're trying to get them for just the sale of the bathtub. I totally agree though. No, yeah, the bathtub has always been that price. It was never $50. So that's just a blatant lie. Right there. From the EU, violates Article 6 of the Unfair Commercial Practices Directive, stating that a commercial practice shall be regarded as misleading if it contains false information and is therefore untruthful or in any way, including overall presentation, deceives or is likely to deceive the average consumer. Gacha games in a nutshell, chat. Includes presentation that deceives or is likely to deceive the average consumer. Oh man, the $70 bata will be their demise? Yeah. Even if this information is factually correct in relation to one or more of the following elements, and in either case causes or is likely to cause him to take a transactional decision that he would not have taken otherwise. Specifically, Section D, the price of the manner in which the price is calculated or the existence of a specific price advantage. Also violates the 2022 Omnibus Directive, stating that businesses must show the lowest price applied in 30 days. Dude, this chick right here, Spider B8, they are going hard into this. Next, we have the daily gem package issue. As seen today, when they were asked for a refund for their daily gems as they were unable to access a game, Infold stated that they should play the game on another device and that this was on them. However, some people don't have another device to play on. I know that my iPhone, So they stated they were unable to access a game and they just wanted a refund for, the time that they didn't get, they couldn't log in. And Infold just literally, they stated, they didn't apologize or anything. They didn't try to offer them even a little bit of compensation. Like they weren't required to. But this right here has to be one of the most passive-aggressive asshole responses ever. They state, well, maybe you should have logged on to Infinity Nikki on another device. This is your fault. Wow. Okay. They weren't like, sorry that you ran into this issue. I would like to apologize on behalf of Infold, and we can offer you like compensation for the 3 days you didn't get to log in. Or even if they didn't want to offer compensation, they could be like, we're sorry that this happened, and we can try to make sure, we can make this easier for players to access in the future. Or they could have addressed it in any way possible. They're like, this is your fault. You should have played it on another platform. Holy crap. They sure are greedy. You guys not have phones? Exactly. Holy crap. Wow. With that, this response to their failure violates Section 5 of the FTC Mail, Internet, and Telephone Rule that states if a product or service cannot be delivered on time, the seller must notify the buyer of the delay, offer a refund or a consent to delay further, and issue a refund automatically. So I wonder what the actual issue was, why they couldn't log in. Maybe it was due to the downtime and all the disconnect issues that were going on. Not being able to get into the game to claim a paid service constitutes a delay in promised goods. In order to conform with that contract, okay, let's see. The daily gems constitute a contract by Infold with the player by releasing an update making the game unplayable on the player's device. Infold violates this law by not making the game remain functional. Oh, so this was actually Infold's fault. Infold released an update that made them unable to play the game. And then they blamed the player for not being able to play the game and log in to obtain their currency. Holy motherfucker. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. Wild. I keep like imagine spending money on something and then the devs release an update that breaks the game, and instead of compensating you or players for breaking it, they say, Dad, this is your fault. This is your fault. Oh, should have just sent them this, and as soon as legal things get involved, they will send compensation. They should have compensated them. Yeah, they're just doubling it down and being the worst. Getting absolutely cooked in this post. Deserve for real. Okay, I can't believe that the game not being functional due to their update is the player's fault. Oh man. Okay, let's see. What else? In the event of termination of the contract, a trader shall reimburse the consumer for all sums paid under the contract. However, in cases where the contract provides for the supply of the digital content or digital service in exchange for a payment of a price, and over a period of time, the digital content or digital service had been in conformity for a period of time prior to the termination of the contract, the trader shall reimburse the consumer only for the proportional or proportionate part of the price paid corresponding to the period of time during which the digital content or digital service was not in conformity. That is exactly what I stated just literally a minute ago. I said they should have been compensated for the length of time that they were unable to actually log in. You know, they'd have to compensate them for the entire duration, like the entire month. If they couldn't, if the game was broken for 3 days, they should have been compensated for the 3 days they couldn't log in. Any part of the price paid by the consumer in advance for any period of the contract that would have remained had the contract not been terminated. Finally, we have the allegations of hidden drop rates related to accessories versus main pieces. We actually covered this a couple days ago. Example, the hairdress wings. In early April, a data miner discovered code in the game related to drop rates for outfit pieces, which are not stated in the publicly available drop rates. At the time, these were the unstated drop rates for 1.4. Wait, I didn't know about this. I didn't know that there were genuine, like, real legitimate numbers released. Well, like, chat, if you guys remember, they just said based off of like a pool of like 100 different people, you know, this amount of people got this amount of people got that. But here we have actual numbers. Oh shit. So for the 5-star sets, so this is supposed to be completely random, chat, right? Like, everything has the same set value. But according to data mined numbers, hairstyles have a 4% drop rate. Dresses have a 4% drop rate. Socks have a 9.5% drop rate, along with shoes, and accessories have a 13.7% drop rate. That is unreal. These are supposed to be like standardized, a set rate, like a set 50-50 for every single piece, you know, the same value. That's a scam. So 4 stars seem to have slightly increased rates though, but they're all still very far. There are very noticeable different contrasts here. That's crazy. In the US, this again violates Section 5 and specifically the .com disclosures guide. In this guide, Infold violates the clear and conspicuous disclosure section. In the EU's violates the unfair commercial practices directive. Okay. Both Apple and Google require percentage disclosures in their App Store policies, meaning the hidden drop rates actually or directly violate these platforms' TOS. While researching this, I thought that Europe had a specific law that required gacha rates to be disclosed. However, it seems it mostly applies to South Korea and China. More information on possible undisclosed rates. Oh, it gets worse. Okay, let's see. Oh, a TLDR. Okay. So false discount pricing for the bathtub, daily gem packages unusable due to unplayable update, hidden drop rate waiting. This is more than just bad business. It's potentially unlawful across multiple jurisdictions. If you've been affected, consider reporting this. Dude, that is wild. This is actually, I hope your pillow is cold tonight. All of this absolutely needs to be public knowledge. How do we attract one of those Reddit crawling news outlets? You've already done all the hard work for them. That is what Papa Stix is here for, chat. That is what I am here for right now. My goal is to make sure that everyone I can knows about this. After I started covering all the Infinity Nikki drama, right? This is gonna be video 10 now. Nobody was talking about all the drama going on in Infinity Nikki. All the content creators were trying to remain quiet because they didn't want to, you know, bite the hand that feeds them, essentially. They didn't want to be embroiled in the drama because their entire YouTube career revolves around Infinity Nikki. I get it, not criticizing, totally understand. I, on the other hand, I am perfectly fine covering everything. For every game, it doesn't matter which game it is. The reason for that is because I cover every single game. And I don't care. I get sponsored by every single gacha game that I love and enjoy. Every single week, I have new videos coming out with new sponsors. I have so many incredible partnerships going on with so many incredible gacha games that if one of them fails, I will 100% cover the downfall of it. Purely because there are gonna be 10 new incredible gacha games released over the next year or two, and I'm gonna be paid to cover all of them. But I am more than happy making sure everything that happens concerning the games that we love is public knowledge, and as many people know about all the mismanagement, all of the drama, all of the scams, all of the abuse, and everything. That is my job, and I appreciate everyone that is there as a part of this new journey for everything that we are going on together. Which is why, after all, we have this subreddit right here to keep everyone up to date with. If you are on Reddit, or even if you're not and you want to be a part of this community, then go ahead and join it. Keeping us up to date with beta test information, new releases, trailers, test phases, pre-registrations, and drama like this that we react to, and then we post directly to YouTube, and we get to continue all of this together as a community. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.